Hey everybody, this is Dr. William Clark here, and before we jump into our show, I wanted to share a resource with you that can help you get your podcasting off the ground. Anchor is the one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it is 100% free and really easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad to you. So if you want to get started with podcasting and you want to make it as simple as possible, go ahead and visit anchor.fm/start. Now, let's jump into our show. Hey everyone, so glad that you're joining me this morning. You know, one of the questions I get often is, how do you keep doing what you're doing, and how do you keep moving forward, and how do you handle and juggle all these things that you're working on? And sometimes I have an awesome answer, and sometimes I really don't. But what I often come back to is the grind just doesn't stop, right? We're all on a grind and we're all on a journey, and regardless of what that journey is and regardless of what that grind is, it just doesn't stop. I'm Dr. William Clark, and I'm so glad to be with you today for our daily podcast. And I do want to talk to you about the grind never stops. Now, we're in this series talking about how to finish the year strong. Many of you have a number of goals that you're trying to achieve, and you have to finish the year strong as a part of that process. You've set some goals for early 2019, and you probably set them this time last year. And so it is the end of the year. We are in countdown mode. The new year is on its way. And certainly it is an opportunity to obviously plan for 2020, which I totally encourage you to do. And you probably should be planning for 2021 while you're at it. But before you get to 2020, we still are living in the moment. We're still in 2019. And I want to make sure that you have all the resources that you need to finish the year strong. Now, a part of that is realizing and recognizing that the grind never stops. We are all on a grind, and it never stops. Whether you're launching a business, launching a ministry, launching a nonprofit, launching a joint venture, launching partnerships, or you're just trying to grow in your career, here's the secret. The grind never stops. I almost feel like I'm preaching right now, but it's so true that it just never stops. And quite frankly, while you may get tired and while circumstances might get on your nerves and might push you to the brink of your ability to focus and stay connected, the truth is the grind never stops. So there are, five things I want to share with you about the grind never stops and what you need to do to accommodate the never-ending grind. You may say, I need to pause, I need to rest, I need to rejuvenate. I'll get to that in a moment, but I want to share these 5 quick tips with you about how to navigate the grind that is never going to stop. Here's the first thing you should do as it relates to realizing the grind never stops. Number 1, you need to pray. Prayer is an opportunity to connect with the higher source, the higher being that created you and I. And that source is so wise. It is so awesome. God, is so great. And in order to do the things you desire to do, prayer must be at the center of your work and the center of every venture you take on. Through prayer, you're able to connect with him, and you're able to download information, vision, strategy, purpose, direction. And quite frankly, without prayer, without this, you and I, we waste time doing things that we did this year that probably we should have never did, right? We probably went in directions and tried business strategies and growth strategies and career changes that we probably should not have tried. And had we prayed or listened while praying, we probably would have saved ourselves some trouble. So going into 2020 and ending 2019 strong, develop prayer habits. Number 2, you gotta keep working. The grind never stops, and the grind is the work. You were designed for a purpose, and that purpose looks different from person to person. So you have to be consistent in your ability to work. Get good at your craft, master your craft, lend your craft to partners and friends and people who can benefit from your craft. You gotta work it, work it, work it. And in the words of Allen Iverson, practice? We talking about practice? Yes. Practice makes perfect. And quite frankly, here's a little known secret. Practice shows up in so many ways, but when you don't allow yourself to practice your craft, you lose your craft. Number 3, You got to connect with people. You got to connect and partner with people who have your best interests at heart, who have the same desires that you have, who have the same goals that you have. If you're not connected and if you're doing this alone, you will easily feel like I need to quit. You will easily feel discouraged. You will start to focus on how fatigued you are. But when you're connected with the right people, when you have the right friends, when you have the right partners, when you have the right relationships, you will be reminded of why it is important for you to keep grinding forward. It's those people in your life and in your corner who you're connected with, who will remind you of your purpose, who will remind you how awesome you are, who will keep you honest about your goals, who would remind you that you are here to do something important. And don't you let them or that distract you. Connected people have that type of access. They have that type of reminder, and they're always in position to keep grinding forward. Number 4, you got to recharge. There it is. I know you guys are saying I'm tired and I got to rest and all that stuff. Listen, the Sabbath was given for that. Take advantage of it. Be smart. Take care of your body. Rest, relax, exercise. Do whatever you got to do to recharge. Do it. And might I add, do it on a schedule so that you always have blocked out time for yourself to recharge. If you don't take care of you, who will? Oh, the job's going to take care of you? Or the business is going to take care of you? Or maybe your customers are going to take care of you. Maybe your staff members are going to take care of you. Nah, this is something you got to do for yourself. You got to recharge yourself. Whatever it takes to recharge yourself, to renew your energy, to renew your purpose, to renew your goals, to renew your focus, you must do it. Because if you don't, you're going to feel like this is a waste. And you and I know the work you're engaged in is not a waste. So recharge. Take ownership of that. Now, before I give you the 5th one, let's go over the first 4. You got to pray, work, connect, recharge, and lastly, simply repeat the process. In 2020, the grind is about the repetition of the work, repetition of the process, repetition of the grind. That is what's going to keep you going. When you have your hard moments in 2020, when customers are not paying, when customers are not flocking to your product, when your marketing strategies are not working, when it feels like your competition is getting ahead of you, when it feels like all the goals you set are slipping away, you need to be reminded of why you're doing this. So you got to repeat the grind process over and over and over and over again. In spite of what people are saying to you, in spite of what it looks like, you must repeat the process over and over and over again. As we started out in this podcast, the grind never ends. You have goals to achieve. The grind never ends. You have things you want to see happen in your life. The grind never ends. You want to see things change in your life. Fine. The grind never ends. Simple. You got to work at it. And you got to make it happen and make it a reality in your life. Listen, I'm hopeful that you are planning the end of the year and that you are working towards finishing the year strong. I'm hoping that you are planning for 2020 and that you're positioning yourself to do awesome, great things. I believe that you have the capacity. I believe that you have the ability to do that. And I want to join with you on that journey. Now, if you will, take a moment to share this podcast, encourage someone to listen, encourage someone to finish the year strong, and encourage them to start 2020 right. Share this podcast and maybe they'll get inspired from it. Follow me at drwilliampclark.com. There you find all resources to connect with me on social media, and I'll be glad to join with you on this journey. I am Dr. Clark, and I will see you in the next show. Peace.